What's up, everybody? It's Frankie Finn. So what is your morning ritual? Now, let me tell you why I ask. Tim Ferriss has a saying which is, win the morning, win the day. And this is really, really important to you because are you actually winning the morning? And if you're like most people, let me tell you what your morning probably looks like. Is you either wake up to an alarm clock, which is a shitty way to wake up, by the way, starting the day. Or if you're an entrepreneur and you wake up on your own, what I see most of them do is either check their phone or check their email, and what you get, or check social media. And what you get from doing that is you get an organized list of everybody else's agenda for you. Everybody wants to tell you all the cool shit they've been up to, all the shit they want to sell you. And before you know it, if you listen to that, you can spend the first 2-3 hours of your day doing something for everybody else that is not very strategically planned for you, and B, not very integral to what you're doing. Sorry, there's a crazy ass fly in my face. So how do the really successful people start their day? And what I've learned from kind of doing this for many years is that a lot of the best successful people, so a really good example is Stephen King. I found out that Stephen King is, for those of you who don't know, one of the most famous authors who ever lived. He's been writing horror movies for 20 years. Tons of people know who he is. And one of the things he does every morning is he writes for 6 hours, locks the world out, and he writes. And I remember somebody saying, well, it's nice he gets to do that because he's Stephen King. And I remember somebody then asked him the question back and said, does he get to do that? Or is he Stephen King because he gets to do that? Or let me try that again. Does he get to do that because he's Stephen King? Or is he Stephen King because he does that? And I would encourage you to adopt the belief that it's the latter, that it is a process. And so what I find is that the very, very best high performers all take some time privately in the morning to reflect, to meditate, to be grateful, to have some kind of self-care practice, whether it's yoga or journaling. It doesn't really matter what the practice is, it's more the intention behind it, which is to really spend some time getting clear and focused on what truly matters in their life. And what you'll find is then it will help you to focus on the big picture and then what sort of tasks and goals really fit into that. And what'll happen is if you do this just for 30, even 60, 90 days, it can dramatically shift what you're doing, because every single day you'll focus on the most important thing. And if you're like most people, the day's almost half over before you even got a chance to look at what's important and valuable to you. So what does your morning ritual look like? And I want you to look at that today very, very carefully, because it will dramatically change your experience both in business and in life. Now, let me just tell you really quickly what mine is. So I wouldn't say I 100% have a routine, because as you can see, I'm often in a different spot in the world every day. I think you can see boobies down at that beach. Let me just show you. It might be a little early, but in Spain here, usually there's some nude breasts, which I'm a fan of. Anywho, for me it looks like, firstly, I wake up when I want. I don't ever set an alarm clock because it just sets the wrong energy for the day. So other than I have to wake up for a flight or something like that, it's very, very rare, or I got to do a speech on stage that morning, I almost never set an alarm clock. In fact, the few days I do are really, really hard for me. I take as much time as I need to just allow myself to wake up. So some days I'm immediately alert, some other days a little more groggy, and I might take half an hour just to myself. And then I always focus on some kind of self-care. So for me, I write my goals out every day, journal every day. I do what's called a brag book, so you list your accomplishments and things you're grateful for, and it just starts to help to build the muscle of seeing why you're awesome, because usually our minds will beat the shit out of us if you don't practice training your mind. It'll be your worst enemy. As well as I have a vision board that I look at every day, and then I do at least a 20-minute visualization, and this all happens before I check a phone, before I do anything. And then usually what I'll do is I'll, with a yellow legal pad, make a list of what I think will truly move the needle, and I'll start to figure out how much time I need to do it and why I'm doing it, and execute from there. So this is what's working for me now. I hope you guys dig it, and that's some useful tips for you. So Frankie Finn, the cool traveling hombre, may the force be with you. And don't forget to subscribe if you're not already subscribed.